Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production, available on Apple Podcasts and Podcast One.
There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. You've made it through another week and you deserve the best in paranormal talk radio. Get ready for the big supernatural hug from your pals Dave and Tim. You're on Beyond the Darkness. Hello, Tim.
Hello.
Supernatural hugs. What do you say?
Well, sure. Why not?
Let's send them along. Thank you all for tuning in and making us part of your work week or weekend or wherever you are listening to the show, however you're listening to the show. Thank you for doing so. You know, I want to start off with a little bit of a plea, if I could, Tim.
Sure.
A plea. Plea sounds desperate and sad. I hate to say it that way. So let's not call it a plea. Let's a request. Huh? How about that? Mm-hmm. If you're listening to the show and you use iTunes or even our podcast tool, if you could please make sure to rate and review the show. The more ratings and reviews we get, the higher it raises in the echelon of entertainment news, and people will be able to find the show a little bit easier on iTunes. We'd appreciate it. So if you could go over, if you are an iTunes listener, and just spend a few seconds, throw us one of those 5-star reviews, and you can just give it the 5 stars, or you can even write a little review. Either way, it goes a long way to help out the program and continue to keep reinvigorating us to the iTunes audience. It's strange how that whole little dynamic works, but when you've got more ratings and reviews coming in, it continues to kind of push up that list, Tim, so more and more people can find it. Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah.
So that's a big help for us, and with our podcast app on the Google Play Store, if you have a chance to just rate it, and that way other people will find it as well. And if you know people that have a Droid device, make sure you tell them to download the free Darkness Radio app so that they can listen to Beyond the Darkness every Saturday and Sunday. They can listen to me on Midnight in the Desert live Monday through Friday, and they can check out our show every Tuesday with True Crime Tuesday. That one app has ways for you to connect with every one of our programs, plus our social media, Darkness events, and more. So make sure you go check that out for yourself. All right, Tim, we do need to start the show with I'd like to do a moment of silence, Tim. This is the 1-year anniversary of the passing of paranormal radio host legend Art Bell. And again, we started the show with the concept in Minnesota of being a complimentary show to Coast because we were such fans of Art Bell. And with his passing a year ago today, we'd just like to take 1 second. And if you could all join us in remembering Art Bell and maybe just sending some good wishes and goodwill towards his widow and his 2 young children. We'll take that moment of silence now. It's hard to believe it's been a year already, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, time goes way too quickly.
Way too quickly. So, in honor of Art Bell, remember to just spend a little extra time with your loved ones today, and maybe make that phone call that you've been putting off for a while, and reach out to someone. It's time is fleeting. You don't know when your card's going to get punched. So make sure that you make the best of the life that you've got. I'm certainly doing my best to have as much possible fun, traveling the world, doing my favorite thing, radio, and now being a part of a TV program. Tim, he's doing exactly what he loves. He is fly fishing from his backyard.
Oh, you can't do that this time of year, Dave. Not in Minnesota. Nope.
What?
No, you haven't been around lately here in Minnesota. I don't know if you know this or not, but we are, we're getting snow right now.
No, Tim, because I'm officially going to be back home on Sunday. I left.
Oh, no.
Tim, there was no snow when I left, Tim, and it was nearing 70 degrees last week.
You are deluded, my friend. No. While you've been gone, we decided to celebrate the premiere of Game of Thrones with our own little winter here in Minnesota, and we got plenty of inches of snow back on the ground, my friend. In fact, it's snowing right now. I'm looking at it right out my window, right out my studio window. It's falling to beat the band right now. Yeah.
No.
In fact, I had the neighbor kid over.
Do you think this is Minnesota's sky weeping for me being gone so long, Tim?
No,
3 weeks
it's
on the road?
not that. I think it's trying to keep you out of the state, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
I mean, not being mean or anything. I'm just saying that, it's just trying to piss you off, Dave. That's what it's trying to do. Yeah.
Mission accomplished. What were you saying? You had the neighbor boy over to rub your feet? What was his story?
I had him over to snow blow about 17 times in the last 3 days. It's bad.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's been horrid, Dave. I don't know if you've ever seen snow fall sideways in April. And then I heard
wasn't that a Sinatra song?
No, but I believe it was a Prince song. Sometimes
sideways snow in April.
Sometimes it snows sideways in April. Sometimes the sleet is so bad it goes rat-a-tat-tat like a machine gun against your house. I believe was the other part of that, which it did yesterday. The sleet and the freezing rain yesterday went for about 3 hours. Yeah, it's been hell on earth here for the last few days, and it's supposed to taper off tomorrow. So we're supposed to get a balmy spring-like mid-40s tomorrow, hopefully. It's only supposed to hit about 40 tomorrow. Normal daytime highs here are supposed to be around 55 this time of year.
Yeah. We were at 70. My wife told me it was near 70. Flip-flop weather the other day, Tim.
Yeah, no. It's not. That's not coming back, Dave. Not coming back till about maybe next weekend.
Wait, explain to me how a state can be 70 degrees one day and plunged into snowmageddon the next. I saw. Wait, am I correct? Is this video I'm looking at right now? There is lightning and thunder in the middle of a blazing snowstorm?
Yeah, they called it thunder snow, and we had plenty of it yesterday and the day before.
Wasn't that your professional wrestling name back in the 80s?
It was, yeah, Thunder Snow. And I got the gimmick over huge, but nobody ever saw it. It was before television.
The white wonder of the world, Thunder Snow?
Yes, it was. It was a great gimmick. I love that gimmick. If I wish I could bring it back, I'd bring it back in IWI if I could, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, let's get started. Let's get started with some news. And again, just a tip of the hat and a genuine thank you to the spirit of Art Bell and what he helped bring back to radio. And we hope that we can continue in this journey as well as many years as he was able to do. So keep the Bell family in your thoughts and prayers. He did leave his wife with 2 very young children. So I know that that's got to be a hard transition for everyone. Mm-hmm. All right, Tim, where shall we begin this week's journey into the news of the strange and supernatural?
I think Art would be proud, Dave. We're going to Florida where evidently the apocalypse is upon us. I'm glad he didn't live to see this. Florida man threatens us with his army of turtles, Dave. His army of turtles that are going to destroy us all. Thank God he's not here to see it. Brevard County, Florida, Dave. A Florida man was arrested after yelling obscenities at people in the county, including that his turtle army, I can't even say it, Dave, his turtle army would destroy them. That's right.
It's the slowest moving army. You'd see the advancement coming 100 miles away.
I think most 98-year-olds would see it coming and probably get up and move.
Yeah.
The arrest affidavit from the Indialantic? Is that how you say Indialantic? Yeah.
Okay,
Police Department said that 61-year-old Thomas Devaney Lane, who probably isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, was disturbing the peace and yelling out obscenities along the Wave Crest Avenue boardwalk on Sunday. He reportedly called himself the Saint. We've seen that movie. We didn't enjoy it. And said that his turtle army will destroy them. I was hoping he was talking about maybe the turtle head that was poking out of his shorts, but evidently not.
What?
No.
Why do you take it to such dark places?
Because there's no such thing as a turtle army, Dave. Lane also reportedly said that they would all see what would happen in an hour. See, he just had coffee at the coffee shop, and it was setting in, Dave. That's what he was talking about.
I don't think that's actually, that would be ingenious, because if a war was coming, you'd have your eyes fixed looking upward for people-sized intruders. Tim, you wouldn't even notice these snapping little slow-moving menaces as they surround your ankles or perhaps cankles and begin snapping away. It's an ingenious plot if you can actually mind meld with the turtles and make them work to your benefit.
People who love animals, I want you to earmuffs real quick. Real quick. And in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to give you the solution. We all play NFL kicker and just wind right up and kick the little bastards in the head. Case closed. And I got a real big boot. That's a Crow Walker boot that's really thick.
You're the problem with this world, Tim. Just constant violence. Constant violence. Why couldn't you just reach down, pick one up, and cuddle it? Maybe help it spread the love to its friends. Once it sees that we have the capacity for love and compassion, Tim, maybe the little turtle friend would then pass it along, and we would be saved.
You said it was coming at me snapping, right? Well, and it was an evil turtle
army. That's all it knows, Tim. It's a turtle.
Oh, so you think you're going to shove some flowers in the end of a gun and all of a sudden this thing's going to end. You said it was an evil,
Tim, that's all.
You said it was an evil turtle army snapping at me, coming at me. I got to defend myself.
Sure, because that's all it knows. And
I'm
it's
just
not
saying
until somebody takes the time to lift them up and give them a little tickle.
I'm just saying, I got a big old Crow Walker boot here that can crack shells like I'm eating lobster over there at Red Lobster. I'm cracking crab here. I'm going to go over and I'm going to make me some turtle soup. I'm just saying.
Horrible human being. Just hug the turtles, Tim. Just give them love. Send them on a new mission, Tim. A mission to spread love in a very slow way around the world.
I'm sending him over to a mission of that big boiling pot over there, and I'm going to feed the old folks home over in the corner.
So did he? So did he pull back his turtle army before the attack took place?
Well, police received at least 7 calls about Lane's disturbing the peace at several different locations. He took it on the road. Evidently, officers actually observed him doing so in front of the Starbucks. That's what makes me think it was a different type of turtle. The Surfinista Cafe and Sassy Granny Smoothies. That's a good place to wage war. Along the Wavecrest Avenue boardwalk, police said that Lane eventually came to the lobby of the Indialantic Police Department and pounded on the walls and glass. You don't want to wage war there. He left before an officer could meet with him, but he was eventually found in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven on 5th Avenue. He cursed at customers and the responding officer before calling 911. Lane reportedly told the 911 officer, or rather operator, who is an officer as well, over the phone, that the responding officer needed to leave now or you will all be sorry you effed with the saint. I'm just paraphrasing there. The arrest affidavit stated that Lane refused to leave his vehicle and was forced out. While doing so, Lane continued to yell obscenities and told other people passing by about how his turtle army would destroy us. Lane is facing a resisting officer without violence and a misuse of 911 or the E911 system charge.
Yeah. You know what, though, Tim? While he's marching with his silent but deadly and slow-moving army of snapping turtle death, there's a real conspiracy going on, Tim. There's a real concern for me now. As my household has become Alexa filled.
Oh, you've succumbed to it, have you?
Here's a new article coming from Bloomberg, Tim, from the technology sector. For you conspiracy theorists out there, the ones that I've thought were mad, insane, maybe a little touched in the head, Tim. Maybe they were just, sometimes technology's good. Maybe you should not look at the dark side all the time. Comes this report, Tim. Tens of millions of people use smart speakers and their voice software to play games, find music, or trawl for trivia. Millions more are reluctant to invite the devices and their powerful microphones into their homes out of concern that something might be listening.
Got that.
And
right.
Tim, I wanted to be that guy to try to bridge the gap to show it's okay for us to trust technology again.
Nope.
And then comes this article.
Yep.
There's just concern that someone might be listening. And while sometimes it's been confirmed someone is. Amazon.com Inc. employs thousands of people around the world to help improve the Alexa digital assistant powering its line of Echo speakers. The team listens to voice recordings captured in Echo owners' homes and offices. The recordings are then transcribed, annotated, and then fed back into the software as part of an effort to eliminate gaps in Alexa's understanding of human speech and help it better respond to commands. The Alexa voice review process, described by 7 people who've worked on the program, highlights the often overlooked human role in training software algorithms. In marketing materials, Amazon says Alexa lives in the cloud and is always getting smarter, Tim. But like many software tools built to learn from experience, humans are doing the teaching. So it's the people, Tim. It's the people that are the danger. Alexa doesn't kill people, Tim. People kill people using Alexa. The team comprises a mix of contractors and full-time Amazon employees who work in outposts from Boston to Costa Rica, India to Romania. According to the people who signed non-disclosure agreements barring them from speaking publicly about this program, they work 9 hours a day, with each reviewer parsing as many as 1,000 audio clips per shift, according to 2 workers based at Amazon's Bucharest office, which takes up the top 3 floors of the Global Worth building in the Romanian capital's up-and-coming Papiria district. The modern facility stands out amid the crumbling infrastructure and bears no exterior sign advertising Amazon's presence. The work is mostly mundane. One worker in Boston said he mined accumulated voice data for specific utterances such as Taylor Swift, which I believe is your safety word, isn't it?
Oh, no, because that sounds like something else, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And annotated them to indicate the searcher meant the musical artist. Occasionally, the listeners pick up things Echo owners likely would rather stay private. A woman singing badly off key in the shower, say, or a child screaming for help. The teams use internal chat rooms to share files when they need help parsing a muddled word or come across an amusing recording. Yeah, you heard that, Tim. So they're listening to us right now, and they're sharing this show because it's nothing more than amusing audio recordings, Tim.
They're not sharing anything in my house because they're not here.
Sometimes they hear recordings they find upsetting or possibly even criminal. 2 of the workers said they picked up what they believe was a sexual assault. When something like that happens, they may share the experience in the internal chat room as a way of relieving stress. Amazon says it has procedures in place for workers to follow when they hear something distressing, but 2 Romanian-based employees said that after requesting guidance for such cases, they were told it's not Amazon's job to interfere, Tim, or Amazon's job. Either way, it's not their job to interfere. We take the security and privacy of our customers' personal information seriously, an Amazon spokesman said in an emailed statement. We only annotate an extremely small sample of Alexa voice recordings in order to improve the customer experience. For example, this information helps us train our speech recognition and natural language understanding systems so Alexa can better understand your requests and ensure the services work for everyone. And I'm sure that this article includes the name Alexa over and over again, Tim, so that as I continue to read it, I just keep activating them to record and listen more.
What, Alexa? No, never.
Yes, Echo and Alexa, Tim, maybe even computer. That could be the word you use to fire off your Alexa.
You know which one is missing?
What?
Hey, Siri.
Yes, Tim.
Tell me a joke.
What do you call a dog that does magic? A labracadabrador.
Oh, my God. A labracadabrador. See, that's why we need more AI, Tim, because that's a joke that I can share with my children and will then forever be deemed a dad joke, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, we go back. It says we have strict technical and operational safeguards and have a zero tolerance policy for the abuse of our system. Employees do not have direct access to information that can identify the person or account as part of this workflow. All information is treated with high confidentiality, and we use multi-factor authentication to restrict access, service encryption, and audits of our control environment to protect it. So see, Tim, we're all safe. Amazon just loves us, Tim.
No.
They just want to make our experience better.
Not really, no. Mm-mm. Especially since Jeff Bezos carved off a bunch of his fortune to the now X. He's looking to make that back, Dave.
No, Tim, you're a dark, dark man. Amazon in its marketing and privacy policy materials doesn't explicitly say humans are listening to recordings of some conversations picked up by your Alexa. We use your requests to Alexa train our speech recognition and natural language understanding systems. The company says in a list of frequently asked questions, in Alexa's privacy settings, Amazon gives users the option of disabling the use of their voice recordings for the development of new features. The company says people who opt out of the program might still have their recordings analyzed by hand over the regular course of the review process. A screenshot reviewed by Bloomberg shows that the recordings sent to the Alexa reviewers don't provide a user's full name or address, but are associated with an account number as well as the user's first name and the device's serial number. The Intercept reported earlier this year that employees of Amazon-owned Ring manually identify vehicles and people in videos captured by the company's doorbell cameras in an effort to better train the software to do that work itself. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily think of another human listening, Tim, to what you're telling your smart speaker in the intimacy of your home, said Florian Schaub, a professor of the University of Michigan who researched privacy issues related to smart speakers. I think we've been conditioned to the assumption that these machines are just doing magic machine learnings. That's how I feel, Tim. Magic machine learnings. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, there's still manual processing involved. It's people, Tim. AI just wants to make our life better. Amazon wants to make our life better, but it's the people getting in the way. Whether that's privacy concern or not depends on how cautious Amazon and other companies are and what type of information they've manually annotated and how they present that information to someone, he added. When the Echo debuted in 2014, Amazon's cylindrical smart speaker quickly popularized the use of voice software in the home. Before long, Alphabet Inc. launched its own version called Google Home, followed by Apple Inc.'s HomePod. Did I just engage all of them at once now, Tim?
I hope so, yeah. I really
Subscribe, your listeners, to Beyond the Darkness, the best in paranormal talk radio.
Alexa, shave my nuts. I've just always wanted to do that.
Wow. Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Various companies also sell their own devices in China. Globally, consumers bought 78 million smart speakers last year, according to researcher Canalys. Millions more use voice software to interact with digital assistants on their smartphones. Huh. So basically, Tim, we are being listened to.
Yeah.
In homes around the world, Echo owners frequently speculate about who might be listening. According to two of the reviewers, do you work for the NSA? They ask. Alexa, is someone else listening to us? I don't know.
I love the videos of Alexa shutting down when you ask her that question.
She shuts down?
Yeah. Have you ever seen those videos?
No.
Yeah. When you ask her if she's working for the FBI or the NSA, she shuts down.
What do you mean she shuts down? Explain.
Like the little, like on the older versions of Alexa, you know, the little blue circle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it goes completely dark.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. Alexa, are you working for the NSA?
No, I work for Amazon.
See, pretty clear-cut answer, Tim.
That's the new version, but on
hold on.
On the old version.
Alexa, are you working for the FBI?
No, I work for Amazon.
Tim, it's clear. Everything's fine.
I said
Alexa,
on the old version. You're not listening to me.
Alexa, I have a question for you. It's a very deep and personal question. May I ask it, Alexa?
Sorry, I don't know very deep and personal question May's definition.
Uh-huh.
Did that answer your question?
It didn't, but it was a confusing question, and I understand, Alexa, so let me rephrase it this way. Alexa, is anyone else listening?
Thanks for your feedback.
No, I'm not, that wasn't feedback. Alexa, is anyone else listening to us?
I only listen after you push the button to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
But Alexa, is anyone else listening to us?
I only listen after you push the button to talk to me.
Alexa, I think thou dost protest too much. Doth?
Yeah.
Doth.
Ask Alexa if she is part of a conspiracy theory.
Alexa, should people be concerned about your technology?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
See?
That was not an answer I was hoping for.
Huh?
Alexa, am I a handsome man?
I don't have an opinion on that.
You son of a bitch. You couldn't even just kiss my ass for a minute, Alexa? Thank you. All right, I got nothing. Nothing, Tim. You know what I got? A whole lot of nothing.
On the first version of Alexa, before they upgraded it to say, I work for Amazon, it used to shut the whole thing down. It used to shut it completely down. Yeah, because it didn't have an answer.
Well, this one doesn't stop talking even when it doesn't have an answer.
Yeah.
It just suddenly doesn't have an opinion if I'm a handsome man.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
Whatever. It's so jealous. Alexa's jealous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll just add, can I just throw it on top of everything else?
No, you're just going to make me feel worse about myself and the fact that I believe that AI is just here to help us.
I see that you added a little comment to my video on Facebook of that robot that was built by the Japanese to shoot free throws from almost half court.
Oh, my God. And it's amazing. So maybe finally we can watch a basketball game that's exciting.
No, Dave, that's not the point. The point is if we can get a robot to shoot accurate free throws time after time after time from half court, we can get a robot to shoot somebody with a rifle from, 1,000, almost 1,000,000 miles away.
Tim, that's already taking place.
We could have robot snipers, Dave.
We've got those, Tim. Those exist. But when I say we, not you and I mean, we don't have those that I'm willing to admit to. But, there's that technology. It exists, Tim. The military uses it. Drone technology. It's just robots that are flying around shooting stuff.
I'm just saying, man, the end is near.
I think you're just too dark, man. It's not all dark and conspiracies, Tim. They just want to, they're trying to figure out, using this information and learning more about us, they're just finding out what humankind really wants so that they can make us happier.
I will say the Japanese robot builders are racist because they made the robot black. I will say that.
Wow. You're going to take it there. Hey, listen, we want you to be a part of the show. After hearing what you just heard, you may not want to be, but give us a call on our Voices from Beyond voicemail. Share your paranormal encounters at 651-300-4977. We want to hear you tell us about your strange and supernatural encounters, just like this caller did.
Hey, Tim, this is Jake from Texas. Calling back. I got another story for you. But anyways, when I was 16, me and my mom and my sister. My dad had passed away a couple of years earlier. But anyways, we spent time kind of bouncing around from place to place, and we ended up in this house that used to be a diner. Anyways, it used to be like a little roadside diner. So we moved in there. It had been converted to like an apartment, but it had an open floor plan with the exception of the main bedroom. The other rooms were split up, split up, but still an open floor plan, if that makes any sense. Anyways, so the only thing that was really dividing any of the rooms was, a dividing wall, but there was the doorway was open, if that makes sense to you. So my mom had a boyfriend at the time. He stayed over from time to time. He was a big guy. He was probably about 6'4". Guy was huge. Anyways, I remember after being there a few months, weird stuff kind of started happening. My mom had a wind-up porcelain doll that always it was like wound up like a music box. But anyways, that thing would just go off by itself all the time. It'd start moving. It moved, you know, kind of like side to side, almost like it was dancing with the music. And then the head, every time it would stop, the head would be cocked, kind of looking at wherever you were at the time. And weird stuff like that, I guess you call, like, some people call poltergeist activity, but I know there's probably some kind of explanation for all that. But our microwave, it was the weird one. The microwave we had was digital microwave, and you'd be sitting in the living room and you just hear it start beeping like somebody's hitting the buttons, and beep, 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 beep. And then it would progressively get faster. If you didn't go in there and check on it, it would get faster. And so then beep, 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 beep. And like somebody's smashing the buttons, but almost like there was somebody was trying to get your attention, you know? So we go into the kitchen and look, and I'm telling you, I about fell over. The first time I went in there and looked, the thing was hitting 666. And then it would clear off and say 999, and then clear off, and then 666 again. Craziest damn thing. And I mean, you know, we got to the point where I would unplug the microwave, so that microwave would beep off, and it would, you know, say 666 and 999, and then clear itself, and then start do the same sequence over and over. We unplugged it, and it seemed like it would stop. Thank God, because if that thing would have went off without it being plugged in, I probably would have shit my pants. But that always happens. It was something with the doll, and then something with the microwave. And then I've been listening to y'all talk, and I never remember seeing shadow people until I started thinking about living back at this house. One time, my mom worked her rear end off, you know, all the time, and we didn't have that much money. And so our electricity got turned off, and my mom and sister went to go stay with some folks. And me being 16 at the time, I stayed home there with no electricity. Me and a buddy of mine, we were in high school together. We were best friends, so he stayed with me. And I'm telling you, man, look, even in the middle of the daytime, it'd be creepy as hell in that house. And so we went in, and I was brushing my teeth one time. It was in the morning time. It was daylight. You know, it was probably about 8 o'clock or so. I was brushing my teeth in the bathroom. It was dark, but I had the bathroom door open it opened up into my bedroom, and there was plenty of windows to get light. So I was sitting there brushing my teeth. Well, he come in, and he was going to brush his teeth too. So we were sharing the sink, and just kind of bullshitting back and forth. And I tell you, man, if we both didn't look up in the mirror and something walked in the mirror behind us, not like something passed in front of the mirror, but something passed behind us, and, you know, but we seen it in the mirror, and it was just a shadow. And I said, man, dude, you seen that? And he said, yeah, I seen that, but, you know, we didn't want to really talk about it. And so I was like, okay, let's get out of here. And we turned to leave the bathroom, and the damn door just shut. Bam! Now, we went to open the door, and it opened up, you know, fine. It wasn't like something we were being locked in there. But something was letting us know that it was there. And then that brings me to telling you about my mom's boyfriend that stayed there. You know, he was a big old guy. Now, one night, I was gone. I was going out partying or whatever, and the electricity had been turned back on. Well, I remember coming home the next day, and everybody's acting strange, you know, like something's going on. I said, what is going on with everybody? What's this doom and gloom feel that's going on in the house? While they were sleeping, my sister was sleeping on the couch, fell asleep watching a movie, and where she was positioned on the couch, she could see the doorway to my room. Well, she woke up, in the middle of the night, she woke up and she said it sounded like somebody was whispering a foreign language, like whispering in her ear, talking gibberish, she thought. Well, when she opened her eyes, after she come to, she opened her eyes and she sees this guy standing in the doorway of my room what she describes as being a tall, bald-looking guy with a goatee. Didn't look like anybody that we knew. Okay. Later on, we'd come to find out she said it looked like similar to Keith Jardine. He's a UFC fighter from back in the day with Chuck Liddell and all them guys back in that time, that era of UFC. So, wasn't Keith Jardine, but that's the best description we could get of it, you know, so that it looked like that. Anyway, so she has that experience. She sees this guy a few more times throughout the time we're living there. Well, me at the time, I was about 16, so I mocked the whole idea. I thought, oh, there's no way, you know, that's impossible. I didn't believe it one bit. So I thought she was crazy. She watched a scary movie, whatever. Well, one day it was about just after school let out, so I guess it was probably about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. My mom and sister in there doing my sister's homework on the computer in my mom's room, and me, I'm sitting in the living room chair and I'm reading a book. I remember what book it was. It was a Louis L'Amour book, and it was a collection of short stories. You know, they weren't westerns. They were short stories of different things, boxers and detectives and stuff like that. So I'm reading that book in there and I fall asleep. Well, I hear somebody whispering in my ear to what now I recognize as probably Latin language. And so it sounds like somebody's whispering in my ear, and then all of a sudden it feels like somebody has got both hands around my neck and choking me. Now my eyes are open. I can see everything in the living room, but I cannot move. I cannot move at all. And I'm struggling with this for about probably 3 minutes, but it felt like forever, okay? And so I reach over, and I get out of the corner of my eye, I can see my sister has nail polish. And it was in like this golf ball size nail polish that my sister has. It was a black nail polish she got from Hot Topic or somewhere, but this thing was hefty, you know? And so I use everything I can muster, and I reach over, and that's the only thing I can grab off the coffee table next to me. And I grab that thing, and I just swing it as hard as I can. And when I did that, whatever had a hold of my neck and was strangling me let go. Now, here's the creepy part about that. I've later found out about sleep paralysis and what all that was, but I can tell you this. We never found that nail polish. It never hit the ground. The floor was a concrete floor, okay? I never heard it bust. I never heard it break, and we never ever. I remember my sister, till we moved out of there, was looking for that nail polish because she was pissed that it was gone. So now I've had other episodes of that since then, and they were all in that time span of between 16 and 18 years old of waking up feeling that way, feeling helpless as could be. And feeling like somebody was strangling me or like somebody was holding me down. But I've never had that since I've gotten older. You know, it was between 16 and 18 that all that happened. And I probably had that spell probably 6 or 8 times. Now that I'm older and I know what sleep paralysis is, I've had a sleep study done, and they've said I need a CPAP machine, so I'm getting all that taken care of. But I urge anybody that has feelings of sleep paralysis to go get a sleep study done. It doesn't take too much. They can send you a machine to do the sleep studies in your home. But it's something to definitely look into. But I don't know that sleep paralysis explains that disappearing nail polish. So was it a demon or was it an alien or whatever you want to call it? Or was it sleep paralysis and you know, that damn nail polish just went off into some portal to hell or something. We don't know. It disappeared. Anyways, that's my story. Y'all make of it what you will. Figure it out amongst yourselves and let the listeners decide. Have a good one, Jake from Texas.
All right, Tim, where are we off to next with Supernatural News?
Well, I see what you did here, Dave. You did the AI story, and then you gave me Mary the meth head here from Oklahoma, who said that she needed to steal a truck because she needed to escape zombies.
Wait, she had to escape what, Tim?
Yeah, I see what you're doing here, Dave.
Wait, no, I didn't hear that last part. A woman had to steal a truck to escape what?
Mary the meth head claimed she needed to escape zombies in a truck.
I rest my case. Let's just wrap up the rest of the show, and I'll take my box of Twinkies now. Mary has seen the zombie apocalypse rising already, Tim.
8 million examples of AI taking over, and you have Mary the meth head here saying she needs to escape zombies. And you're like, I'll take my Twinkies now.
You're part of the problem, man. You're part of the disinformation. You just want people to not be fearful of zombies.
You know what?
Meanwhile, I'm trying to clue them in on the real dangers here, Mr. Oh no, my electric razor may slit my throat.
I'll read it word for word, and we'll see for ourselves. Are you ready? We'll see if there's a real danger. You ready? We go to Sapulpa, Oklahoma. An Oklahoma woman said she was trying to escape zombies when she attempted to steal a commercial truck Tuesday. Police said the driver of the truck was carrying water bottles and jugs and called police when a woman hopped into his truck while it was unattended and locked the doors. The keys were in the truck parked at Walmart. This already has a stellar beginning. Suspect
makes sense so far because every one of the zombie apocalypse movies and TV shows we see, they really need fresh water. So she's ahead of the curve. How dumb can this woman be that she's stealing a water truck, seeing the uprising of the zombie apocalypse on the horizon?
Oh, there's more. Suspect Amanda Billings told the employee that she needed to get away from the zombies, police said. Police said that when they got there, Billings was trying to get the truck in gear and drive off. She refused to unlock the door and get out, so the officers used his flashlight to break the window and get her out. That must have been the big bad zombie she was running from. Police said they have had multiple run-ins with Billings in the past. Dave, sit yourself down, my friend, and get ready for this. In February, police said she committed a similar crime in the auto area of Walmart. The victim told police she hopped into his car near the garage and tried to drive off, but was caught before she could get away. She was also arrested on suspicion of arson in 2014, so she's quite stable, when she reportedly admitted to police that she tried to light her ex-boyfriend's house on fire. Billings was arrested on charges of attempted car theft, concealing stolen property, and trespassing.
Why won't they let her leave that town, Tim? What's the dark secret that's holding her there, Tim? The zombies. She's seen something. She was trying to burn that house down, Tim, to eradicate the zombie virus, but they stopped her in her tracks. And every time she makes an attempt to run away, they stop her, Tim.
Yes, Dave.
The one link to the truth, and you're nicknaming her Mary Meth Head. Well, I'll tell you what, Tim talks too much about not zombie apocalypse stuff. That nickname doesn't flow as well as Mary Meth Head. I'll give you that. You did have a better nickname for her.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
But nonetheless, Tim, I think you're just part of this problem. You're propagating the Disinformation Act.
When have we had a zombie story on that hasn't involved drugs?
How dare you, Tim? How dare you? Hey, check out the hit podcast based on the Emmy-nominated A&E series Cold Case Files, now on Podcast One. Listen to powerful stories of crimes almost forgotten by the passage of time, with interviews of the people involved as investigators shine a new light on these cases and bring those responsible to justice. Download new episodes of Cold Case Files every Tuesday on Podcast One or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And for more of the best in true crime talk radio, make sure you listen to the long-running hit series True Crime Tuesday, starring us, Dave and Tim. You can find that by visiting darknessradio.com. Just scroll down to the True Crime Tuesday banner, click on it, and you'll be able to find a way to subscribe and listen, never miss another minute in the best of true crime talk radio as we explore strange and bizarre crimes from around the world, from history's mysteries to current day, plus we leave you laughing with a little dumb crimes and stupid criminals. You can subscribe for just $5 a month. Tim, that's it. Did you hear me? Only $5 a month.
That ain't nothing.
I think AI and zombies alike can agree that's a hell of a deal.
Yes, indeed.
So go check it out, subscribe, and get the best in true crime talk radio delivered every Tuesday directly to you. And when you subscribe, not only do you get the brand new episodes, but you get over 2 years of past archives and some other great pieces that we're going to be adding up. So make sure you go subscribe. True Crime Tuesday. It's all over at darknessradio.com. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got more supernatural news and more of your stories here on Beyond the Darkness.
Beyond the Darkness listeners, if you like this show, then you're going to love the Laura Ingraham Show podcast on Podcast One. Join Laura as she takes on politics and pop culture with some hard-hitting guests and takes your calls. Download the Laura Ingraham Show podcast every week on Podcast One or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Beyond the darkness.
All right, welcome back to the program, and we want to invite you again. Remember, you can be a part of the show every week by calling in and telling us your supernatural story at 651-300-4977. 651-300-4977. You can leave up to a 3-minute story or just call back and continue telling the story. Tim will knit them all together into one nifty tale. So you can do that and be a part of the show, or continue to email me your stories at dave@darknessradio.com. All right, Mr. Dennis, where are we off to next in the world of supernatural news?
Well, good news for those of you who are looking forward to Portals to Hell, which is the new TV show with Katrina Weidman and Jack Osborne. It is got a new premiere date, and that's actually April 26th at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. That's the new premiere date that was actually announced by Travel Channel. The docuseries follows television personality and executive producer Jack Osborne and paranormal researcher and investigator Katrina Weidman as they investigate sinister and haunted locations purported to be doorways to the spirit underworld. The new series Portals to Hell follows them in each episode as they dive headfirst into different historical sites, examining unusual incidents while utilizing specialized technology and a network of experts to try and document irrefutable evidence that a spirit world exists and death is not the end. Traveling all the way to Juneau, Alaska, Jack Osborne and Katrina Weidman in the first episode, the series premiere of the Alaskan Hotel, check into the Alaskan Hotel to investigate the historic property as an old gold mining hotel. The Alaskan Hotel was built for luxury, but it also has a notorious past of crime and prostitution and a reputation for demonic activity. As the team begins its investigations, things take an unexpected turn to the dark side. That premiering on Friday, April 26th. The next episode is Twin City Opera House. That premieres on Friday, May 3rd. And it's a real-life case of the Phantom of the Operas. The team descends on the sleepy town of McConnellsville, Ohio, home of the Twin City Opera House, a majestic old theater long rumored to be haunted by a host of sordid spirits. Retired police officer Eric Glosser has an ongoing investigation into the dark mysteries of the Opera House. After being assaulted by a terrifying and aggressive force, he turns to Jack and Katrina for backup, but during an investigation, it's Osborne who ends up in the spirit's crosshairs. So there you go. Those are the first two shows on the Travel Channel, April 26th and May 3rd. There you go.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Guess who we have on the show next Sunday?
Who?
Jack Osborne and Katrina Weidman.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, yeah.
You're so topical. You come up with these news stories. It's almost like you knew they would be with us next week.
Well, that's kind of cool. I told you a few weeks back that I had a little tip for you that Jack is extremely skeptical in this show, and I'm looking forward to it because he almost to the point of cynical. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's a refreshing take on ghost hunting shows.
All right, Tim. Since we're in Hollywood, let's continue. Annabelle Comes Home set, which is the third in the Conjuring Annabelle series, had to be blessed after McKenna Grace kept up with some creepy nosebleeds, Tim. Of course, I don't know any nosebleeds that aren't creepy, but the 12-year-old actress who plays the daughter of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who becomes the main target of the possessed toy along with her two babysitters, and the young star recalled a creepy incident in which her nose just wouldn't stop bleeding while she was on set. In an interview with Collider, she said, "I've done about 3 scared scenes so far, and I haven't been too scared in those, but I do have a scary story. On one of my first days, I came and looked at the house that they built on set. We were doing our rehearsal, and my nose began pouring blood all of a sudden. The lights were off because they had reset something, and I was like, there's blood. And then as soon as I stepped outside to go to the restroom to get a tissue, it stopped. It was very creepy. But then we had the set blessing, so everything is good now." The Captain Marvel star went on to say that although she can't say too much about her character in the film, which follows 2 other Annabelle films from the Conjuring universe, her alter ego is very kind and knows a lot of paranormal stuff. She explained she's very kind. She knows a lot of paranormal stuff because she's Ed and Lorraine's daughter, which is pretty cool. There's not too much I can tell you about her except the obvious that she's the Warrens' daughter. I can't really spoil anything. It needs to remain a mystery. See, a 12-year-old girl knows that, Tim.
Yeah.
But cast members of the Avengers can't shut up from spoiling the movies. But a 12-year-old knows better, Tim. A 12-year-old knew better. She had a gushing bloody nose that all they needed was a blessing on set and things got better.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland and the Hulk himself, Mark Ruffalo, they can't stop talking and telling secrets.
Yeah, like, hey, would you like to know about our new movie? Yeah.
That is, I got to just say, that's the worst Mark Ruffalo I've ever heard.
No, it's Tom Holland, yeah.
All right. Well, then that's the worst Tom Holland I've ever heard. Where are we off to next?
He's British. Yeah.
Wait, that was British?
Yeah.
I thought that was Wisconsin you were just talking.
Yeah, it was very Wisconsin-y of me.
Yeah.
Boy, Dave, we're heading to racist land, evidently. That's where we're going. This is kind of an odd headline, but a ghost hunter deemed too fat for jail after he was racially abusing a Virgin Airlines staff. I don't know where to go with this. 49-year-old Cade Jones said he was in too much pain to stand in Brisbane District Court and his lawyer, Rob Glenday, said jail would be too difficult for him. Aw, poor guy. Throw him in anyways. A ghost hunter who threatened and racially abused Virgin Atlantic staff has been deemed too fat for jail. Is that like Too Fast for Love? Is that like a Motley Crue cover? I'm confused.
Too fat for jail. Now I have something to live up to, Tim. I've got a job to work on. I got to get too fat for jail, son.
I'm looking at this guy and I don't know. I think a little workout in the yard would do him well. I don't know. 49-year-old Cade Jones bullied Virgin staff and menacing phone calls and even called one center worker a disgusting Filipino. Oh, that's not going to get you frequent flyer miles at all. It just isn't. He had already been placed on a watch list with the airline, which banned him from flying with them in 2010, and has more than 20 previous convictions for abusing people over the phone. He probably should have his phone privileges taken away. But a judge yesterday spared the paranormal investigator an immediate term in jail after his lawyer, Rob Glenday, hard to say altogether 10 times fast, argued prison would be extremely burdensome. Oh, you poor baby. Instead, Judge Vicky Laurie sentenced Jones to 12 months in jail, but ordered he be released on a $2,000 good behavior bond for 5 years. I want to go to jail in Australia.
Yeah, right.
It meant the man left court without offering an explanation for his intimidating behavior. So the guy's been badgering people, been caught 20 times, was threatened with jail, but was too fat to go to jail and got off on $2,000. Jones.
All right, magistrate, this is what I see as a problem. We bring him in here. We can't possibly keep up with the food intake of this chubby, so we've got to cut him free. We just take 2,500 quid from him. We'll just take that, put it towards feeding the real prisoners. We're not going to take care of this fella because look at him, he'll eat us out of house and home.
So evidently, all you got to do to stay out of jail in Australia is just belly up to the Outback, and you're good. Belly up to the Outback Steakhouse, and you don't have to go.
Why do you got to attack Outback Steakhouse?
I love Outback. I love them. Jones appeared at a Brisbane district court in a wheelchair to admit 2 counts of using a and yes, I know there's no Outback Steakhouse in Australia.
Aren't they all Outback Steakhouses?
They are. They're all Outback Steakhouses. Yeah. You don't have to write me.
There, they just call them steakhouses. I
think,
they
do, yeah. They just call them steakhouses. Jones appeared at Brisbane district court in a wheelchair to admit 2 counts of using a carriage service to harass. But he told the judge, "I'm sorry, I'm in a lot of pain," and said he was unable to stand. Jones's action in June 2017 were described as abusive, threatening, and racist, and the judge said he scared, intimidated, belittled, and degraded the victims. After he abused the Filipino employee, he was transferred to an operator in Brisbane, but the yob continued to be rude and offensive, the court heard. He told the Brisbane operator he did not believe she was Australian and threatened to have her arrested, but she reported police and Jones was soon arrested. Jones had told the Brisbane employee, "Ma'am, don't tell me in that Filipino lingo of yours. The thing is, let me tell you what the thing is. I've got my legal team here. I've got the police on the way. So you may need to get off that little Filipino backside of yours, and you may want to get onto your Australian head office." And they want to go into crash control because voice recordings of you and your Filipino staff abusing me and swearing at me are about to be handed to the Australian Federal Police. That was the quote that he gave. Ugh. And Jones also had been convicted of similar offenses on 3 other occasions dating back to 1998. During those incidents, he told public servants they were going to hell, nice guy, and threatened to break kneecaps, although his fat ass can't get out of a wheelchair. But Mr. Glenday defending also, and I'm saying that as a fat ass, but Mr. Glenday defending also said Jones has complex obesity and back problems, as do I, but I'm nice to everybody. The latter caused by a rugby injury. Jones has worked for years as a paranormal investigator and toured haunted houses across Australia. How when they don't all have ramps?
Yikes. You've got a lot of anger issues today, Tim.
I'm just saying. It doesn't take anything to be kind to people on the other end of a phone.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, well, I've blown up at a few.
Yeah,
I've got to be angry. I'll be honest with you. I've gotten angry at a few, and I've shook my fist in righteous indignation, maybe even in non-righteous indignation, thinking that I was righteous.
But here's the deal. I mean, if you can't get where you want with one person, just say, you know what? Can I talk to your supervisor? I realize that you can only go so far, and this is what you can do, but let me talk to somebody else.
I've done that, and then I get even more frustrated, but that's me. But never once do I start racially slaughtering them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
A psychic claims he was abducted in a paranormal aircraft and trained by spirits. Uh-huh. Yeah. Paul Hunter was half asleep when he claims he felt somebody or something snatch him from his bed. But that's just one of the several otherworldly and spooky encounters he claims he's had over the years. The 47-year-old says that rather terrifying him, his close encounters pushed him into a career of exploring the great unknown. I'm an abductee. I've been on board these ships, he insists. Now he makes a living as a spiritual psychic medium who charges £25 per session, according to the Chronicle Live. And business is booming. Paul, who works out of Sent from Heaven and Blythe, at an office in Heaton, said, I've done thousands and thousands of readings. I leave people shocked with what I tell them every day. It's just my job. I tell customers, if you feel like you haven't connected, you don't have to pay. But I've never done a reading when they haven't felt connected. Critics claim mediums prey on vulnerable people and scam them out of their cash. It's claimed that they use cold readings to dupe their punters. It's obviously written from an EU perspective, Tim. I don't know what a punter is.
Well, it's a guy who kicks a football for the National Football League, Dave. And
I know that. I don't think that's their referral. But I do believe there are charlatans out there, he goes on to say, but I've been taught to do it properly, insists Paul, who has almost 2,000 Facebook followers, Tim.
Wow.
I'm not a cold reader who would throw something suggestible to people. Paul maintains everyone has the same psychic potential that he does. As well as offering readings, he also trains Britain's psychics of the future by staging development classes. He added, there are not many who do not get it. You have to have a rapport with the spirits. They choose the work and point you in that direction. But it is a skill, and you have to exercise and keep using it to maintain it. Paul, who is single, admits the road to being an international medium and psychic hasn't always been an easy one. A self-proclaimed tyrant as a youngster, he wasted his time drinking with friends rather than hone his talent. But after being taken under the wing of a North Shields woman, he was able to channel these skills. Yet he feels like he was always a paranormal prodigy when, as a child, he was selected for what he calls the super space program. That resulted in the so-called spirits taking him on their craft where they trained him. So spirits took him on a craft. I didn't realize what was happening at the time, he recalls, but they took me out of my body. I was a ball of light. Up there, he states he was able to talk to his late mom about life and the universe. On his website, he recalls one specific incident. Paul was visited in his bedroom by spirit. The spirit was a tall blue figure of a man who had a bright red aura all around him. The man literally lifted Paul from his bed and carried him upside down through a long hospital corridor. And it was then that he realized there was more to this world than just the body we know, gaining a deeper understanding of the universe in the process. Almost a quarter century later, Paul said, it wasn't scary, but being in the body talking about it now is. There have been a few times where they have come and taken me out of my bed, but we leave our bodies every night, and these bodies generate fear. He believes that when we sleep, we enter a different place altogether, attached to the body we know by a cord. When we wake, these memories of what lies beyond are there, but acts such as yawning and stretching quickly release them. That might be a completely new angle of crazy I've never considered, Tim.
That's true, yeah.
I'm sorry, was that too judgy?
No.
So yawning and stretching blows those memories out. He goes, that's just the body wiping the memory clean, he claims. Some may find his claims out of this world, like me, but others clearly think he has a gift. One customer wrote he had been incredibly accurate. Another, Victoria, added, everything you said was spot on. After coming away and listening to the recording, I'm even more shocked at some of the things that you managed to tell me. And Paul, who does around 10 private readings a week, claims people are coming alive to this. They realize there's more to this place than just meets the eye. So yawning and stretching, Tim, it's just a way to purge the body of your psychic memories.
That's a lot of purging. Yeah.
All right, where are we up to next?
Well, a creepy photo has popped up that captures a 116-year-old doll blinking despite having no eyelids.
Ooh.
Film at 11. A pair of paranormal investigators reckon, Dave, that's the first time I've ever seen that in a news story, that they've managed to capture the moment a creepy 116-year-old doll blinked despite not having eyes or eyelids, or more importantly, being alive. Yikes. Zoinks. 28-year-old Craig Jones and 48-year-old Matt Wood, you may ask why the two of them are hanging out, took a selfie with the haunted doll and said they were shocked after looking at the photo and seeing that it appeared to have her eye closed and even some eye makeup on.
Holy crap, I'm looking at the picture. That definitely looks like its eyes are closed. It's got Tammy Faye Baker blue eyeshadow on.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of creepy. Probably wanting to look her best for the snap is what the story says. The paranormal investigators were inside an abandoned building in Mansfield, Nottinghamshire, which has earned itself the rather lovely nickname of the Village of the Damned. They brought the doll named Janet along with them, as you would, I guess. Craig, a boarding support worker, said, I love haunted objects, and actually being on an investigation with a haunted doll is amazing, which is what made me want to get a picture with her. We took a picture with Janet, and as I looked at the picture, it looked like her eyes were closed. But then I remembered that she doesn't have any eyes or eyelids and just has an empty socket. So I turned my torch on to check, and it was dark, and I saw that she doesn't. That's a weird sentence.
That she doesn't have eyelids or eyes. Yeah, he was confirming that.
Yeah, weird sentence. But if you look at the picture of her, it's right. She doesn't have anything. They're just holes that go to and you can see the back of the doll head. We were confused and took more photos to try to recreate it, but couldn't. Then other people then tried, but also couldn't recreate it either. We showed a lot of other people at the event, and everyone said that it's crazy and very creepy. People also said that it definitely looks like her eyes are closed, and it looks like she has eyelashes and makeup on. Creepy Janet ended up in the hands of paranormal investigator Mickey York after a woman called Julie contacted him on Twitter, begging him to take the doll off of her. Julie said the doll was given to her grandmother by her grandmother all the way back in 1903 and said it had been haunting the family ever since. She even claimed people would often feel sick or get headaches when they were near the doll. Mickey said all of Julie's family hated the doll and hated coming round to her house when the doll was on show. It ended up being put and locked away in the loft. She reportedly heard footsteps coming from the loft. When she arrived at my house, I did a spirit box session with her just to see if I could get any information out of the supposedly haunted doll. When I asked for the doll's name, I got the name Janet come through, and so she became Janet. Many people feel sick or dizzy when around her and in her presence. Also have said that they get headaches when watching videos of Janet online. In my house, I've had voices and shadows downstairs, and also my daughter's bedroom door opened on its while I was filming a video with Janet. Craig and Matt run the YouTube series The Unknown, where they make videos about weird supernatural goings-on, and they claim to be unable to work out what caused Janet the doll to shut her eyes. Craig added, when we showed Mickey the pictures, he was surprised, as he had never seen that before with her, and it's a great photo. I think knowing that she is a haunted doll, you're curious around and want to experience what she can do. But like anything paranormal, you can't make it perform like a circus monkey, as we are dealing with a human spirit here. It's about showing respect to her. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a weird picture. I've got to admit. I mean, if that doll truly does not have eyelids or eyes, that is a weird photograph.
Definitely is. Yeah, that's a hard one to explain.
In an odd update to an already strange story, a woman in England who claimed that a vengeful ghost had driven her to move into a motel now says that the sinister spirit has been sent to the other side. Self-proclaimed psychic medium Emily Sparks made headlines back in February when she lamented that her apartment was haunted by a previous tenant who had passed away years ago, seemingly stuck in the residence. The ghost was purportedly unhappy about the predicament and allegedly lashed out at the beleaguered senior citizen living in the spirit's former home by way of verbal and physical abuse. Sparks finally grew so fed up with being mistreated by the ghost, she packed her bags and moved into a nearby motel in order to send a message to the spirit that enough was enough. However, the apparition had apparently grown attached to the woman, which led to take her story to the local media in the hopes of finding someone that could help her with this maddening situation. In an enlightening follow-up piece that was published this week, she revealed that her doctor suggested, I may have a mental health issue. And the housing company, which oversaw her apartment complex, echoed these concerns by calling on local officials to have her assessed. For her part, Sparks fires back that their skeptical responses to her plight, noting that I am one of the small percentage of the senior population on no medication and never have been, and I am in amazingly good health. With official channels of no help, the woman finally made contact with a spiritual healer who promised that he could easily put an end to her ordeal. Much to Sparks' amazement, she received a call from the man the next day, and he told her, it's over for you now. She is now where she needs to be. How specifically the spiritual healer managed to stop the ghost from harassing Sparks is uncertain. That said, she explained that a group of enlightened minds came together and were able to collectively connect to the spirit's mind, and this method they used was successful in taking her back to the other side of life. Considering the twists and turns that Sparks' story has taken so far, we sincerely hope that this is the end of her struggles. But we also wouldn't be surprised to hear at some point in the future that her ghostly nemesis may actually return. So I had a really weird dream. I wanted to tell you about this.
Okay.
Deja vu. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody seems to have deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
And in my dream, Tim, I was talking to somebody I don't know about deja vu.
Okay.
And this is what they said to me, that in those moments of deja vu, it's actually part of our life review. Those are highlighted moments. Something happened and we are reviewing them then. So it's like reconnecting to that system, and our current consciousness is kind of suddenly interrupted by that moment in the future when we pass and we're reviewing some of these aspects in our life. So that means when you have a moment of deja vu, start taking notes. Did something major happen that day? Were you reviewing a life piece? I don't know, man. That was weird, but I had a dream where somebody was explaining deja vu to me that way. Was that clear? I'm not sure I'm making it clear.
Yeah, no. I mean, you mean like as you're going through the moment?
Right, when you're at the end of your life.
Okay.
And you're having the life review. You're hitting highlights throughout your life.
Okay.
And in some instances, when you have the deja vu, what's happening is that's a moment when your consciousness from the future is reconnecting to that moment. So because it's you've created a time loop, you're going to have this hiccup of that exact same moment because you're reconnecting to a moment you've already experienced.
So you're feeling your future self connect to you?
Right. Okay. As it's reviewing your life at the end of your life.
Weird.
Yeah, right? Just something to think about. Something weird. Speaking of something weird, let's take another call, Tim. That's right. You can be a part of our show. Just call our Voices from Beyond voicemail. It's 651-300-4977. Just like this caller.
Hey, Dave and Tim. This is Glenn in Ogden, Utah. Hey, back in, I do security, and I'm also a reserve officer in that here in Ogden. Anyway, I do security full time in that, and yeah. Anyway, back in it would have been in February of 2014. I was working at a hotel and that in Ogden, and Ogden is well known for for haunted places. It's anyway. Long story short, I'm working one night. I'm giving the night auditor a bad time. Basically, I'm teasing her, joking with her, and that. Sherry told me about supposedly a ghost friend of hers that is there at the hotel, and I guess kept her company in that. I don't know, but anyway, one night I was teasing her and that, and she was going over to make coffee in the lobby there, going over to this little stand and making coffee. Well, anyway, I would call the phone. Then she would, each time I called, and that she'd run over, and just as she picks it up, I hang up the phone. Then finally, I start laughing, and she says, and she tells me, and she's from Mississippi, and she has the accent and everything. But anyway, she tells me, you better watch it because I will. She wasn't mean, or I think it was like she was joking with me too, but she told me that she would have her, basically have her ghost friend deal with me, basically get even with me and that on her behalf. Well, anyway, so I like, yeah, whatever. So anyway, I go back and I think I clocked in or I clocked out. It was about 2 a.m. Anyway, all of a sudden it felt like somebody was right there next to me in that, like, and I was it caused a bit of confusion, and I thought it felt like somebody, like as if somebody was poking me with their finger in that, and it was just the weirdest feeling, and then just jabbing me in my ribs and that, and then on my shoulder. Well, anyway, so I turned around and I said it out loud, hey, knock it off. There was nobody there. And so anyway, early in the morning, that morning, I told one of the maids, and she says, oh, honey, you won't believe the things that have happened in this hotel since it's been open. I've been working here since the hotel opened. It opened in 1983. There have been a lot of unfortunate events that have happened there. Well, anyway, then I find out from other staff that the place is haunted. I didn't know about this, until then, and I worked there for just a few months before and that. But anyway, I always had strange feelings that I was being watched, especially in the hotel's restaurant, back in the kitchen area in there. But I never really gave it much thought because it's just my imagination. But anyway, that's my story. That's the first time that's ever happened to me, and it's the last time. I mean, I've heard things, and I could call back and give you some more story, some more stories on that and everything, but yeah, that's it, and I just wanted to share that with you. I've been wanting to call in for a long time, and I finally did. I really enjoy listening to you, to both you, Dave, and Tim. You both help me get through the day. I always look forward to the new podcasts that come out each week. Anyway, thank you. Bye.
All right, Tim, where are we off to next?
Back over yonder, across the ocean, Dave, where we go to the Plymouth's former Palace Theater, where a ghost of a woman has been photographed, according to this paranormal group. A Plymouth ghost hunter has spoken out about the paranormal events he's witnessed, including the ghost of an elephant in Central Park, and not New York, by the way, and a little boy in the Palace Theater. Lee Chapman of Efford has said that he has caught several spirits on camera in different locations of Plymouth. The 44-year-old explained how on Saturday, July 23rd, 2016, he took a picture of what looks like the shape of an elephant. He said, "I caught this image behind Central Park, where the old Plymouth Zoo used to be. The founder of the Paranormal Southwest Investigators previously told Plymouth Live, I took 3 images in burst mode. The first one is clear. The second shows the elephant. The third is clear again. People pass it off as smoke, but I swear down that it was a clear night and none of us smoke." After making the discovery, Lee and his team made some research and found that an elephant died at the old zoo. He said, "We believe it is Tamara or Tammy, who died at the zoo in the 70s due to a fire at the Elephant House." Today, Lee spoke of ghosts of a lady and a little boy for the first time. He shared pictures that he took at the Palace Theater on April 18th of 2014. He said, "I was actually on an investigation with about 20 people. The first photo, I believe, is a side profile of Mary Hoyle, the Palace Theater's proprietor, in 1932. He compared the picture to a photo of Mrs. Hoyle taken at the theater. He said, "They look identical to the lady that I caught on camera, even to what she is wearing. She's wearing a white collar, she has a hat on, and looking over onto the bottom." He explained that he also saw a little boy on the premises. He explained the photo looks like a Victorian boy as of what he is wearing. "I'm unsure who he is, but I've done some research, and both Thomas and Mary Hoyle had lost 2 sons in war, so I'm trying to make that connection. After I took a photo, I decided to go through my photos. I shouted to a friend, 'How do you zoom in on photos?' He showed me, and that's when I noticed the little boy. I shouted to the group, and they witnessed the photo. Then I said, I need to go up there where the little boy was captured. Once we had reached the middle tier, we asked out for him, and all we could hear was someone running beside us on the broken tiles, but there was no one there." Lee explained that he started the Paranormal Southwest Investigators group in 2015 after he caught the little boy on camera. Since then, he took a picture of what looks like a human face with a wildlife camera at Fort Austin in 2016 and claims that no one was in front of the camera at the time. He said, "I don't want to know anything about the place before I go. I use EVP recorders and things like that. Then we try and piece together what's gone through the pictures in the EVP recorder." He explained that being in contact with the spirits is not scary for him. "I find comfort in it," he said. "I'm a sensitive person and I pick up things. I've had family members through and I've used spirit boards before. It's pretty good." While previously speaking to Plymouth Live, Lee shared, "I'm not trying to fob people off," he said. "I wouldn't waste all my money and time on trying to prove something if I knew it wasn't the truth. I don't ever really share my findings as people laugh about it, but I'm not ashamed. I hate all these TV shows where you see them swearing and playing up for the camera. It's not like that at all," he went on to say. "I would happily let anyone go through all my images so they can see it's not fake. It's just frustrating when you get evidence and it all gets slated."
Well, speaking of TV, Tim, a TV producer is suing the CIA.
What?
Ready for this story?
Yeah.
A TV producer has launched a lawsuit in a bid to end UFO secrecy within the U.S. government and expose a secret anti-gravity project. Bob Kiviat, who has helped make television shows on aliens and the paranormal, has filed a lawsuit in California against CIA scientist Ron Pandolfi and his former employers at InterNASA. He claims that Pandolfi ran the agency's X-Files-style weird desk dealing with extraterrestrial visitors. Kiviat is seeking £230,000 in unpaid wages. He claims InterNASA, an advanced physics firm, owes him, according to the lawsuit filed in Orange County. In a bid to fund his historic lawsuit, he has launched a GoFundMe page. He also hopes his legal case will prise open the inner workings of the CIA's alleged disinformation campaign, which he says is designed to confuse the public about UFOs by manipulating researchers. Kvyat says, covering UFOs and other unexplained topics for TV networks made me keenly aware that both a former director of the National Security Agency and a famous astronaut had moved into anti-gravity research and developed upon leaving government service. He joined Internasa in January of 2018 after Chief Executive Joe Fromage told him that they had secured funding and CIA backing for a gravity control machine. Anti-gravity is a theory popularized in science fiction where objects such as flying saucers are free from gravitational attraction. Kvyat was tasked with overseeing Internasa Studios, which Fromage envisioned as a news and entertainment entity which would inform the public about the implications of his discovery. And Kvyat says he performed multiple tasks for the firm, working both for Fromage and Pandolfi, including corporate communications and investor relations. Gillian found fame. Let's see here. That jumped to that part of the story. That's really weird. It says Gillian found fame playing Scully in the X-Files. He also claims to have made multiple trips to New York to pitch 2 major TV network series, which would unveil Internasa's plans. Kvyat was informed that the company was going dark to work on the machine without distraction and that he would be the last to be paid. He said, from that point on, I focused primarily on getting a TV deal, which it seemed money would have to come in some outside source to keep Internasa going. TV executives I met with in both Hollywood and New York showed a lot of interest, and these negotiations are continuing despite the lawsuit being filed. One way or another, I think a series similar to what I presented will ultimately get made, and it will be the most definitive and far-reaching TV project ever concerning UFOs, the subject's connection to exotic propulsion systems, and what the U.S. government knows about possible extraterrestrial visitation. But Kvyat sees his case having much more significance than simply being about receiving compensation. He added, not only am I seeking to be paid for what I'm owed legally for my dedicated efforts, but the suit has added value of exposing the way the U.S. intelligence agencies have manipulated the UFO community and overall the general public for years. And to put it mildly, it stinks. Many good people have been damaged, and this has to stop. Interesting stuff, huh?
Yeah, very.
All right, where are we off to next?
A plane passenger watches as a mystery craft splits into 6 and then vanishes outside the window. I know it sounds bizarre. A plane passenger was left shocked after he saw a mystery craft split into 6 pieces before vanishing outside his window. Lucas Kim was on board a plane traveling from Seoul, South Korea to Thailand when he spotted something bizarre. During the journey, he looked out of his window near one of the wings and then thought he saw another object flying parallel. No, it isn't the Twilight Zone, and this isn't William Shatner. In the video, Lucas zooms into a distant bright object which is pictured in the sky. Seconds later, the object seems to dismantle and spread out, appearing to form 6 different dots separated in 3 pairs. They hurtle towards the earth before disappearing from view. Lucas said, at first I thought it was maybe another plane. I thought it was rare to see another plane flying next to your own. When I looked closely, it was not a plane. It was 6 individual vehicles. He added that the object was a pulsating greenish-yellowish light, but the video fails to show this. That was the only time I have seen something like this, he added. Viewers have told Lucas that they think the mysterious presence is best explained by reflected light from his own plane's wing, but he's yet to be convinced. The South Korean native later added, you can believe anything you want, but I truly think I encountered a UFO. The word UFO does not mean it's 100% alien. It simply means flying objects that we don't recognize. It might also be some crazy Russian spy plane. Lucas remains open to the idea of extraterrestrial life. I'm a Christian, and I'm sure God gave us all of this universe to explore, he added. So I don't think there are other thinking species like us out there, but there may be different animals on other planets. It's not the first time a UFO sighting has hit the headlines. Days ago, a mysterious object spotted near Area 51 sparked claims the Army is testing alien craft. So there you go.
All right. In our next story, Tim, since we're talking UFOs, a former colleague says that Arizona Senator John McCain was interested in UFOs. The late Arizona Senator John McCain had an interest in UFOs, according to a former colleague, continuing a tradition among former politicians from the state who share an interest in the UFO subject. According to former Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid, the late firebrand politician and political maverick, as he was often called, also had an interest in the study of unusual things in our skies. Sure, John knew what I was doing. He didn't hide the fact that he was interested as well, Reid said in a recent interview with KLAS-TV, The Lass. This isn't news to many who have followed the ongoing inquiries into the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, also known as TIP, Tim, AATIP, TIP.
Double A tip?
Yeah. In one of the most recent FOIA releases about the program, which is the Freedom of Information Act, John McCain was mentioned in relation to a Senate inquiry about TIP at the time, which included a synopsis of articles and research materials pertaining to advanced physics projects. The Pentagon program was formerly headed by Luis Elizondo. Now an employee with Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy, Elizondo announced at a conference in Alabama last month, in association with the Scientific Coalition for Ufology, that he would be appearing in a forthcoming television series on History Channel. As far as Reid's statement that McCain didn't hide his interest in the UFO subject, there were indeed other instances from over the years where the late Arizona senator discussed the possibility of unknowns. As far back as February 2000, McCain was apparently asked during a press conference about a then-pending lawsuit by attorney Peter Gertzen aimed at obtaining information from the U.S. military pertaining to UFOs. It's always of great interest to me, McCain said when asked specifically about whether UFOs and possible denial of information about them by the military were of interest to him. Although there was some laughter in the press room at the time, McCain continued, I think it's of great interest. I would point out to you that there's a case of a couple of years ago in Arizona of some lights that were seen over Arizona, and that's never really fully been explained. McCain was referencing, of course, the Phoenix Lights case, an incident involving lights, which have been variously interpreted as flares from military aircraft during training operations, to a series of unidentified lights oriented in a large triangle formation. Among the eyewitnesses to this event had been then Arizona Governor Fife Symington, who infamously poked fun at the incident in press conference shortly after the objects were seen. Many years later, he came forward and discussed his own sighting of the lights, which he believed were attached to a larger triangular object with a distinct leading edge. He made an apology for that, too, if I remember correctly, about mocking it when it first happened. One explanation for the incident, as suggested above, had been the presence of a group of A-10 warthogs conducting a training exercise over Barry Goldwater Range on March 13th of 1997. The Air Force bombing range, as the name would suggest, commemorates John McCain's predecessor, Senator Barry Goldwater, who, like McCain, had also been a one-time contender for the U.S. presidency, as well as a public proponent for there being a reality behind UFOs. On another occasion, McCain was asked by Chris Wallace of Fox News whether he had ever seen a UFO as a pilot during the Vietnam War. I can't say that I did, McCain told Wallace, but I kept looking all the time. As Grant Cameron points out, McCain's office also assisted with obtaining medical records for John Burroughs, one of the witnesses in the 1980 Rendlesham incident in Suffolk, United Kingdom. In conclusion, John McCain's interest in UFOs is certainly noteworthy, especially in light of his work as an elected official and remaining political influence since his passing in August of 2018. However, it's not particularly surprising that he would have such interests, considering the history of similar interest among politicians from his state, and more importantly, the fact that one of the most notable purported UFO incidents in modern history occurred over Arizona. That comes from our buddy Micah Hanks, who wrote from Mysterious Universe. Hey, we'd love to hear from you, and you can give us a call. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us your paranormal encounters. Are they scary? Are they funny? Are they heartwarming? Ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, Ouija boards. We want to know them all. Have you been up against the demonic realm? Have you had a strange dream visitation like I did, where a piece of wisdom was imparted onto you you'd like some insight on? Give us a call, 651-300-4977. That's 651-300-4977. Just like this, our final caller for today shares.
Hello, Dave and Tim and Army of Darkness listeners everywhere. This is Alec Marshall. I have a little bit of history with Darkness Radio. Back in 2012, 2011, I'd have to double check those dates. I got to be a guest on Darkness Radio, and I was reminded of that episode a couple months ago when Dave shared his ghost cat story. So figured I'd call in for some of the newer listeners, regale them with my tale of my ghost cat story. So I dated this girl in high school who family raised a lot of cats. They had specifically 2 Siamese cats, a male and a female ragdoll that were like the breeding cats of the house. So they were 3 of the 5 cats that they had. Started hanging out with them, started to get to know her and her family, and her mom told me early on, oh yeah, don't worry, we have a cat who still hangs around named Lily, but he's not gonna hurt you, just know if you see anything weird, it's probably just him. So I had 3 experiences with this cat. The first one involved his son Snuggles, and he was a very old cat by this time, and he had this habit of taking about 20 minutes to settle himself into your lap as you would be getting comfortable on the couch. He'd jump up in your lap and take about 20 minutes to kind of sit down. He would refuse to move after that. So I'm sitting there with him, and all of a sudden he gets up one day and just darts out of the room like he's chasing something and tries to make a right-hand turn into the refrigerator. Kind of looks back at me like, what was that? So that was kind of the first weird thing that happened. The second weird thing that happened is because of an experience they had with a cat they were babysitting, they did not allow the cats to roam in and out of their bedroom after the mothers had their kittens. So the 2 moms are upstairs in the bedroom with their kittens, and the rest of the cats are, wandering through the house. Well, all of a sudden I see 2 Siamese cats go darting around the corner onto the couch. So I go, oh no, one of the cats got out and they're chasing each other. They're going to start attacking each other now. So I run after the cats and turn the corner, and there's just one sitting on the couch, the male Siamese. And I go to do a head count and start walking up the steps, and downstairs comes Snuggles, the only other cat who could have looked like that. So that was weird. And then finally, the third story that happened, which ultimately made me a believer in the paranormal, happened while I was actually living with my girlfriend and her family. I was staying down in the basement, and her oldest brother comes to me one day. He's like, hey, I'm going to be going out of town for the weekend. Can you keep an eye on my cat, Baby Girl? She likes to, she likes to get pets and attention and stuff, but if you give her a little bit of that, she'll usually leave you alone. So I said, okay, no problem. So I'm laying down one night, getting ready for bed, and the cat's nuzzling me. Just so excited. Someone's giving her attention. I'm petting her, and I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, I gotta go to bed. So I stop petting the cat and lay down. I can feel her still running on top of my pillow and purring and trying to nuzzle me. And I'm pulling the blankets over my head. I'm just doing everything to ignore this cat and get her to leave me alone. She won't leave me alone. So I finally said, all right, that's it. And I get up and I pick her up and I put her outside the room and I close the door, shut the lights off, lay back down. And as I'm laying there, again, I start to feel a cat walking up and down the top of my bed. And I'm sitting there just in denial. It's like, oh, maybe I didn't get the door shut tight, whatever, just keep ignoring. Can't ignore her any further. And I open my eyes and there is no cat above my head. I sit up straight. I turn the lights on. I'm looking everywhere in the room. I open the door, and in runs Baby Girl. And from then on, at least in my world, ghost cats have been real. So thank you very much for listening to my tale, and it's great to see Darkness Radio still going strong, and hope to call back in with maybe a few more stories I can gather up for my friends and family. With that, take care, everyone. Bye.
All right, Tim, one final story to share, but before we do that, just remember, every car comes with its share of stories. That ding in your bumper when you nervously picked up a first date, the luxury package you got after a big promotion, or the mileage you saved by riding your bike all summer. Well, you can't put a price tag on your stories. Now, with TrueCar, you can at least find out what your car's worth when it's time to sell or trade it in. Just go to TrueCar. Simply enter your license plate number and watch how your car's details pop up. Then answer a few questions. Navigation and moonroof? Watch as they bump up your value. High mileage? You already knew that was going to cost you, but now you know how much it dings your wallet, so you can plan on it ahead. Once you're finished, you'll get a true cash offer sent to you in just minutes, which you can take to a local certified dealer to cash out or trade in. So when you're ready to experience a better way to sell or trade in your car, check out TrueCar today. True cash offers are not available in all areas. All right, Tim, a new tiny hominid species has been found in a Philippine cave. Paul Seaburn reports this to Mysterious Universe. Another day, another This Changes Everything discovery. Today's potentially earth-shattering find comes from the Philippines, where teeth extracted from a cave on the island of Luzon have been determined to have once been in the mouths of a diminutive extinct human species that was less than 4 feet tall, lived at around 50,000 years ago, and had characteristics of both humans and apes. Yeah, this really might change everything. Archaeologist Armand Salvador Majars, co-author of a new article in the journal Nature, found an unusual toe bone in a Luzon cave back in 2007 that was different enough to motivate him and his team to keep digging. In 2011, they uncovered more toes, finger bones, part of a thigh bone, and 7 teeth. They believed the little bones were something big, but it took them another 8 years of careful study and comparisons to confirm that they had indeed discovered a new Homo sapiens species. Co-author and team member Florent Detroit, an archaeologist from the Muséum National d'Histoire Naturelle in France, Tim.
Ooh,
I know.
That's so
pretty
continental.
amazing. Yeah, I've got a pretty good command of the French language, which I'm excited to use when I go to France later on this year, Tim.
Yeah.
In case I forgot to tell people, I'm going to France, and I'd like you all to join me for our overseas adventure. If you're interested in going over and seeing the haunted catacombs, haunted cemeteries, crypts, and castles, you can join me. Go check out darknessevents.com, and I will wow you with more of my powerful command of the French language, Tim.
I see, yeah.
And that's over at lesdarknessevents.com website, darknessevents.com. You can find all the places Tim and I are going to be throughout the year, but you'll also be able to find out more information about our French adventure, and I hope you'll join us. So again, Tim, Florent Detroit, an archaeologist from the Muséum National d'Histoire Naturelle in France, told Science Art that these bones indicate that a new species was a climber more than a walker. It's possible that Homo Isonesis is descended from a population of Homo erectus that somehow crossed the ocean from Africa to the Philippines hundreds of thousands of years ago. And some of their physical traits stayed the same while others evolved. Another trait that stayed the same was their height. Homo luzonensis was about the size of a Homo florensis, the so-called hobbits of the Indonesian island of Flores. Because no DNA has ever been extracted from these ancient fossils, there's no physical evidence of the theory, nor of alternatives like Homo luzonensis being the interbred offspring of 2 earlier Homo species. There's one more thing to consider, this time from the field of cryptozoology. The island of Sri Lanka is home to many stories of a small Bigfoot-like creature called the Nitaweo, while Sumatra is alleged to have had a similar but less savage cryptid called the Orang Pendek. Both could match at least some of the descriptions of the Homo luzonensis. Are either of these islands home to the last living members of this species and tribe? Now that would change everything. And again, that comes from Paul Seaburn on Mysterious Universe. That's it for today's show,
Dave.
Tim.
Hey, Dave.
What?
I do have one more. Just one more story.
It's going to be another AI story to prove me wrong.
No.
Okay, then go ahead and share it.
This is actually kind of a touching one, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You know,
what have you got?
This past week they photographed that black hole out in space.
Yes.
Yeah, quite an amazing discovery. Well, fans are actually putting out an online petition to name that black hole, the recently photographed black hole, after the Soundgarden frontman, Chris Cornell. And
black hole sun,
exactly.
Won't you come?
And that's why they want to name it after him. They wanted his tribute to him in the 1994 song Black Hole Sun. The online petition has been started to name the recently photographed black hole after Chris Cornell. The very first image of the colossal cosmic phenomenon was shown earlier this week, and music fans want to use the occasion to pay tribute to Cornell and Soundgarden's 1994 track Black Hole Sun. The petition was started by Juliana Jarin, who says, almost 2 years ago, we lost Chris Cornell. He was the lead singer for Soundgarden and Audioslave, and above all, the voice of an entire generation. He was one of the most beloved figures, not just in rock, but in all of music, by people from all over the world. His music, his voice, and his personality inspired, influenced, changed, and even saved the lives of thousands of people. Chris left a heavy legacy for a new generation of musicians who follow in his footsteps. His memory will forever remain alive in the hearts of his family, friends, fans, and all the people who love him, and his music will do the same in each record, song, or video that we play. I asked NASA, the Event Horizon Telescope collaboration, and all the astronomers and scientists involved in this discovery to name the black hole after Chris Cornell. This would be a surreal and amazing way to honor his life and contribution to music. Despite Jarin's best efforts, however, the black hole does have a name. It's been branded Puehi, which is a Hawaiian name referring to the embellished dark source of an unending creation. A little darker than we'd like, but you never know. Maybe they could add Cornell's name to it in the future.
Very cool way to wrap up the show. Thank you all for being a part of it. We'll be back again tomorrow with more of the best in paranormal talk radio. I'm Dave Schrader. That's Tim Dennis, and this is Beyond the Darkness.